god, that's you. You. Oh god, it was a toy. I'm not someone who does well with horror. The longest I've progressed into any horror game is like 5 minutes. It's something about stress and being chased and all that kind of comes with the medium. It's pretty much the only reason I still haven't finished Half-Life Alyx, and that isn't even really a horror game. And yet, I'm fascinated with horror. Back in freshman year of high school, I developed a, let's say, very amateur horror shooter with a friend. It was clunky, had not great graphics, and was a hodgepodge of different assets and chunks of programming we got from FPS packs and other asset whatevers from the Unity Asset Store. Now, I've believed for a long time that when it comes to horror game experiences, virtual reality could really become the gold standard. I mean, just the feeling of actually being in a tense situation is elevated so much in VR that logically horror would too. And that brings me to Saints and Sinners. I avoided this game because, like I said, I do not do well with horror games. But because of the dry well of new cool VR games and the fact that Saints and Sinners is getting a sequel early next year, I figured it was time to bite the bullet and give this game a try.
Oh my god, no. Oh my god. Fuck off. Fucking hell. What do I do? What do I do? No!
Unfortunately, my first impression was slight annoyance, as when trying to set up the game for proper video capture, I realized there aren't any spectator cam options like Blade and Sorcery or the Bone games. So all the gameplay you see is being captured from the left eye socket, which is why it looks a bit odd. If anyone has a way of fixing this in the future through a mod or something, please let me know down below, because I want to stream this and play it more, and I want it to look good. Anyway, after I resigned to just letting the footage be wonky, I started the game proper. Hopped into the tutorial and learned the basics.
Ooh, I don't like that at all. Oh no.
I will say, right off the bat, do not like weapon durability mechanics in games. I touched on this on my Skyrim stream, but to me, they do not make games any more interesting or challenging, just annoying. And so far in this game, it really has only proven itself a nuisance. However, the game did immediately have some huge upsides for me. Clicking the trigger button to switch a knife from a forward to a reverse grip and vice versa is beautiful, and god do I wish more games incorporated this. Also, it is no secret that I'm left-handed, and developers always seem to overlook that possibility when designing weapons. As a result, in most games, I can't use revolvers, as I'm not able to reload them effectively without switching hands. Not in this game though. With the game set to left-handed, or maybe if you just hold it in your left hand, the cylinder of a revolver actually flicks open to the right side, so I can load rounds quickly and easily. So, props to you, Skydance. Another cool thing they have set up is the gripping options. By default, the gripping is set to a hybrid system of you click the grab button to grab and then click it again to let go. There's also the regular let go and drop mode as well, which I much prefer. But it is really nice to see developers set up different options for accessibility with consideration that some people don't want to or can't hold a button or pad the whole time they play. Playing through the tutorial gave me a taste for where my brain would be during actual combat. There's a brief tutorial on how to shake a walker from you when it grabs you, and even that got me going. It didn't help that the stabbing mechanic feels different from other games that I've played. You have to accurately and precisely drive your stabbing weapon into the head of a walker with enough force to, theoretically, actually pierce the skull. It'll take some time to get used to, but for now it just feels off in a way I can't really describe. There were more than a couple times I went for what I felt was a good stab, but it either missed or didn't go in as deep as I thought it would. The two-handed weapons feel fantastic though, at least based off of the short practice I got in the tutorial. I seem to remember seeing somewhere that the game slightly assists hits with two-handed weapons to make them satisfying. And if that's true, it was the right game design decision. And somehow, this is the first VR game I've played to have the backpack inventory thing. I thought it was a bit inconvenient at first, until I realized I can auto-place items in it by dropping them over my shoulder. Now that I have that figured out, it's pretty neat. Though I don't know what will happen when my weapon breaks and I need to replace it, but I guess I'll find out soon enough. The gunplay so far feels pretty alright. I guess coming from the tightness of the Bone games, I'm not going to really be satisfied with most other shooters. The guns feel a little bit floaty in a way, like they tried to give them weight, but it just feels odd. Also, racking a pistol is not very satisfying at all. Although, like I mentioned, the revolver thing is really cool, and overall, the shooting is not bad, it's just not as good as I'm used to. A little cool thing I noticed while trying to kill some walkers with the starter gun is you can hit them in the head and the jaw area and injure them, but not kill them as the bullet wouldn't have entered the brain, which is a cool little realism thing I thought was nice. But what I believe this game excels at so far is the atmosphere and art style. It has a really cohesive, stylized look that is almost reminiscent of the Telltale games, yet it still has its own flair. And the set dressing and level design is phenomenal. There's also strong environmental storytelling, which honestly is crucial in a zombie apocalypse game, so I'm happy it is good. Even the build-up to the little hub section, trudging through a graveyard littered with corpses and seeing a walker slowly limp between two above-ground caskets, is terrifying in the best way. I actually had to be done for the day when the second quest started to take me into a crypt and I guess find a key. Even though rationally it isn't real, the environment and sound design really just sell it to your brain that this might be real. Little thing about the sound design. When a walker spots you, the game plays a noise to alert you.
I hear a zombie.
While this may seem a comfort, as it did to me at first, it starts to become a panic when you hear the sound and you can't see what spotted you.
Weapon. Kitchen knife. Who saw me? Who saw me? The game made the noise that something saw me. There it is. Okay.
Especially when there's a lot of them around. The pathfinding can be pretty easily tricked though, like if you're hanging outside a window that they can get to on the inside. It's pretty funny.
I may have set myself up for failure here.
Despite the fear and all the horrible stuff my brain hates, I actually did have a lot of fun playing Saints and Sinners so far. The quest design seems pretty solid so far. It isn't hand-holdy like most current RPGs. You don't get quest markers or anything on a HUD, but you do get enough landmark and direction details. This way, you really have to search what you're looking for, but it isn't a frustrating mess. The gameplay itself is challenging, but not difficult, even with the annoying weapon durability. Though I haven't played too far in, so I would imagine that the difficulty will ramp up as I progress. Ammo and weapons seem scarce, but there is a crafting system. I've not actually played with that yet, as I was trying to just really get through the beginning of the game and didn't have time to test it out, because I chickened out when I had to get to the crypt.
Oh, this is the worst. This is the worst thing. No. No. I think I'm good for today.
The inventory system is pretty standard for a combat VR game. I mentioned the backpack earlier. It seems to allow you to store anything in it, given the slots are available, and it has an auto-sort function so you don't have to take a bunch of time deciding where to put an item. Outside the backpack, you can hold 2 small weapons, 1 on each hip, and a large weapon over your non-backpack shoulder. You also have a rechargeable flashlight, and I just have to thank Skydance with all of my heart for not making it so you need to find batteries for it. I've not had a chance to try out the long guns yet. I acquired a shotgun, but have yet to use it on anything, because at first, I didn't think it had any ammo in it, and by the time I figured out it did, I didn't have any enemies around to fight. Overall, this is certainly a game I will come back to, though probably in short bursts so I don't have a heart attack and die. And that's really all I have today. I think I'll continue this game through a couple of streams, though not today as Tuesday's Skyrim Day, and make another video after I've finished it, giving my complete thoughts. Speaking of, I'm continuing my first playthrough of Skyrim today at 4 p.m. Central Time, so come on over then if you're interested. And with that, I'll let you go. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.
I noticed your watch. Looks like you've got the alarm in sync with the chiming bells that rile up the walkers every day. Smart. Don't want to be caught out in the open when this place is overrun by the dead.
What